What if the most powerful place in the world isn't a battlefield, a palace, or a distant destination? What if it's the one place you've been overlooking your entire life? Your home. Marcus Aurelius ruled the mightiest empire of his time, yet his greatest victories happened alone in quiet rooms with no audience. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor surrounded by noise politics, war demands expectations. But every night he returned to his journals. No soldiers, no applause, no meetings. Only a desk, a lamp, and his thoughts. And it was inside those quiet walls that he built the mindset that shaped an empire. Today we escape our homes through our phones, our schedules, our distractions. But Marcus teaches us something different. Staying home is not isolation, it is transformation. Lesson 1. Home is where you reclaim your mind. What if the loudest place in your life is your own mind? And what if the only place strong enough to quiet it, to steady it, and to reshape it is the home you keep trying to escape? Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Nowhere can a man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." But here's the part: most people miss the soul becomes quiet only when the environment allows it. When the world outside softens enough for the world inside to breathe. That is why today we step into Lesson 1. Home is where you reclaim your mind. Take one breath with me, inhale and exhale. Good. Stay with me because what you're about to hear may completely shift the way you see your daily life. Imagine Rome chaotic, loud, unpredictable. Imagine tens of thousands looking to one man for decisions that might decide the fate of an empire. And now imagine that man not on a throne, not surrounded by advisors, not addressing a crowd, but sitting alone in a dimly lit room. No generals, no noise, no spectacle, just Marcus Aurelius and the soft silence of his private chambers. It was in that silence, not the Senate, not the battlefield, where he reclaimed his mind from the pressures of the world. Today you fight a similar war not with armies, but with distractions, notifications, expectations, and noise that never seems to stop. Research suggests the average person makes more than 35,000 decisions every single day. Your brain isn't exhausted because you work too much. It's exhausted because you never stop reacting. You're constantly pulled, constantly stimulated, constantly surrounded by demands. That's why you need a retreat, a space that slows you down long enough for your mind to catch up, a sanctuary where your thoughts stop scattering and begin to realign. And whether you realize it or not, that place is your home. Take another breath. In and out. Say it quietly to yourself. My home is my retreat. Most people assume staying home means isolation or stagnation, but the Stoics saw it as the beginning of mastery. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." At home, time stops leaving you behind. It begins to work for you. In stillness, the mind opens. In quiet, clarity emerges. Modern psychology has proven this timeless truth. A 2020 study from the University of Colorado revealed that even 10 minutes in a quiet, controlled environment significantly increases cognitive clarity and emotional stability. Your home isn't just a physical location, it's a mental reset button. It's the only place where the world finally stops talking long enough for you to hear your own thoughts. Think about the last time you felt overwhelmed. You tried to escape it. You went out, met people, stayed busy, scrolled endlessly, and yet somehow the anxiety only grew louder. Why? Because the mind doesn't heal through distraction, it heals through reflection. Marcus Aurelius didn't find clarity in the roar of the crowd. He found it in the quiet corners of home, writing the words that still guide humanity 2,000 years later. You can create that same clarity starting today. Here is your first practice, the one I want you to actually do, not just hear. For the next 7 days, spend 30 minutes at home in deep reflection. No music, no phone, no conversation. Just you, a pen, and your thoughts. And write 3 sentences. What drained me today? What strengthened me today? What truly matters tomorrow? This deceptively simple exercise has been shown in studies published in the Journal of Psychological Science to reduce mental chaos by up to 40%. When you take your thoughts out of your head and put them onto a page, you don't carry them anymore. You reorganize them. You reclaim them. Pause for a moment. Inhale, exhale, whisper it to yourself. Silence is strength. Let's go even deeper. One evening after a long day of political conflict, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The mind needs a space to regain itself." He didn't write this in the palace halls or among advisors. He wrote it in a quiet room far from the public eye. He understood that you cannot control the world until you first learn to control the world within your own skull. And that internal world, your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions, is reclaimed in moments of stillness. Here's the truth. Most people never admit out loud we are not afraid of the world outside. We are afraid of being alone with our own thoughts. That's why people stay busy. That's why they scroll endlessly. That's why silence feels uncomfortable. But great minds, leaders, artists, thinkers, emperors do the opposite. They run toward the silence, they use it. They sharpen themselves inside it. Your home is not a cage. It is a sharpening stone. When you stay home with intention, not boredom, not avoidance, your thoughts start slowing down. Your emotions loosen their grip. Your priorities rise to the surface. And suddenly, for the first time in a long time, you stop being dragged by life and start directing your energy toward what actually matters. Take one final breath with me, in and out. Remember, this home is not where you hide. Home is where you heal. Home is not where life pauses. Home is where life begins again, slowly, quietly, powerfully. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, but he ruled himself first. Learn to do the same. And now that your mind is steady, your breath is deep, and your thoughts are clear, it's time for the next step. If lesson 1 showed you why home is your sanctuary, then lesson 2 will show you why it is also your training ground, the place where discipline, character, and inner strength are forged. Lesson 2. Home is a training ground for discipline. If lesson 1 showed you the quiet power of reclaiming your mind, then lesson 2 will reveal something even deeper. Your home is not only a retreat, it is a training ground, a dojo, a silent arena where your real battles are fought and your real character is built. Take a slow breath with me. Inhale and exhale. Good. Let's step into the heart of this lesson. Imagine Marcus Aurelius again, not as the emperor surrounded by guards, but as a man alone at dawn. The city still asleep, his room cold, the sun barely rising. And there he is, sitting upright, preparing his mind for the challenges of a world waiting outside. No applause, no audience, no one watching. Yet he showed up every single morning. Why? Because discipline is not a performance. Discipline is private. The Stoics taught that the truest form of strength is what you practice when no one sees you. Epictetus said, "How long will you wait before you demand the best of yourself?" And that question echoes through history, landing squarely in our homes, in our bedrooms, in our kitchens, in the small details of daily life. Not the grand moments, the ordinary ones. Your home is the place where your habits reveal your future, where your routines speak louder than your dreams, where who you are overrides who you pretend to be. Now breathe in with me, inhale and exhale. Say softly, discipline begins here. Let's go deeper. Most people believe discipline must happen out there in the world, in the workplace, in public where others can judge and validate them. But the truth is the opposite. Discipline happens at home because home is where your excuses speak the loudest. Home is where comfort whispers to you. Home is where you have every opportunity to delay, to procrastinate, to surrender to convenience. And that is why mastering yourself at home is the highest form of discipline. Marcus Aurelius didn't wait for motivation. He didn't wait for the right mood. He didn't wait for the world to steady itself. He prepared in private so he could act with clarity in public. His journal's meditations were never meant to be published. They were training notes, private drills for the mind. Modern research backs this up powerfully. A 2018 study published in the European Journal of Social Psychology found that consistent routines built in private environments increased long-term discipline by nearly 47%, far more than routines built in public. Why? Because private discipline isn't fueled by external validation. It is fueled by internal alignment. And that is what your home gives you, a laboratory for aligning your actions with your values. Imagine this. Your alarm rings at 6 a.m. No one is watching. No one cares whether you wake up or stay in bed. The world is silent. But this moment, this tiny choice is where discipline is forged. Because discipline is simply this doing what you must even when you feel the least like doing it. Let's do a quick reset. Inhale, exhale. Say it with me. Small discipline, big destiny. Good. Let's continue. At home, every ritual you perform becomes a vote for the person you wish to become. A clean workspace signals clarity. A made bed signals order. A morning stretch signals respect for the body. Reading one paragraph of Stoic wisdom signals respect for the mind. None of these acts are grand, but they are consistent. And consistency is what rewires identity. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, found that habit formation is less about intensity and far more about identity-based repetition. The question is not, how hard did you work today, but what identity did you reinforce today? So a single daily ritual, even a 1-minute ritual, can literally reshape your self-perception. Marcus understood this. He practiced what modern philosophers call delayed comfort, the principle that you must earn your pleasures instead of receiving them by default. For him, comfort was not the enemy, but comfort without intention was. And he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action," meaning the moment something feels difficult, that is your invitation. Now let me pull you into a story. There was a young Roman soldier, anonymous, unremarkable, who served during Marcus's reign. He wrote in a surviving letter that the emperor's discipline was more feared than his anger and more respected than his authority. Why? Because every morning before inspecting troops, Marcus had already trained his own mind. His discipline was not enforced on others, it was lived by example. That is the power of private training. Now let's bring this back to you. Your home is a battlefield of micro decisions: wake or snooze, stretch or scroll, read or distract, act or delay. Every choice shapes the next 24 hours of your life. Here is your practice for the next 7 days, simple but transformative morning ritual. 10 minutes. Sit on the edge of your bed, take 5 deep breaths, stretch your spine and shoulders, read one Stoic paragraph, just one. Then ask, what is one difficult thing I will do before I give myself to comfort? This creates what psychologists call a discipline anchor, a ritual that strengthens your ability to follow through. Anchors like this can increase long-term habit retention by up to 60% according to behavioral studies from Duke University. Now breathe, inhale, exhale. Repeat quietly, I train myself first. Let's push deeper. Home is also where your environment trains you without you noticing. A messy room leads to a messy mind. A cluttered desk leads to scattered attention. Studies from Princeton University show that visual clutter reduces cognitive focus by up to 30%. Meanwhile, a clean, intentional space increases productivity and emotional stability. This is why Stoics place such importance on simplicity. Order outside creates order inside. Every object you remove, every surface you clear, becomes a mental detox. Your home becomes a dojo, not chaotic, not overwhelming, but structured, intentional, and empowering. Let's pause here. Take a slow breath. Good. Now listen to this carefully. At home, no one is watching you. And that is exactly why it is powerful. Because whatever you do when no one sees you, that is who you truly are. Your home strips away performance. It leaves only the truth. And truth is where discipline grows. So remember this. Your home is not the place where you drift. It is the place where you sharpen. Your home is not where you escape responsibility. It is where you build responsibility. Your home is where you choose every single day to become a little stronger than you were yesterday. Marcus Aurelius trained privately so he could live powerfully in public. You must learn to do the same. And now, take one last breath with me, in and out. You've reclaimed your mind. You've begun training your discipline. But there is one more step, because in Lesson 3, you will discover the most transformative truth of all. Your home isn't just a retreat. It isn't just a training ground. It is the place where you build the life you truly want, skill by skill, habit by habit, day by day. When you're ready, follow me into the next chapter. This is where your destiny begins to take shape. Lesson 3, home is where you build the life you want. If Lesson 1 taught you to reclaim your mind, and Lesson 2 trained your discipline, then Lesson 3 will take you to the summit of this journey. Because here you will discover the most powerful truth of all: your home is not just a retreat, not just a training ground. It is where you build the life you truly want. Take one breath with me, inhale and exhale. Good. Settle into this moment. Let everything else fade. Now listen closely because what comes next may redefine how you see your future. Imagine a small quiet room in ancient Rome. No gold, no luxury, just a wooden desk, a candle, a simple bed, and an emperor sitting alone with his thoughts. Marcus Aurelius wrote the words that would later travel across centuries and reshape millions of minds, not from a throne room, not surrounded by greatness, but in the simplest space imaginable. A space no bigger than the average modern bedroom. And that alone reveals something profound. Greatness begins in ordinary rooms. Empires, businesses, ideas, books, transformations. They do not start out in stadiums or boardrooms. They start quietly at home when no one is watching. Take a moment. Inhale, exhale, say softly, my life is built here. Let's go deeper. Most people believe their future will be built one day when they have more money, more time, more opportunities, more motivation. But that one day never comes. And if it does, people often discover they were never ready. Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus wrote, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." Meaning you don't wait for the world to shape you. You shape yourself beginning exactly where you are. And right now where you are is home. Think about this. Your home is where you wake, where you eat, where you think, where you rest, where you repeat the same patterns every day. Statistically, according to a Harvard study in 2021, the average person spends 62% of their waking hours inside their home. That means your environment is not just background, it is programming you. If your home is chaotic, your mind becomes chaotic. If your home is stagnant, your dreams become stagnant. If your home is intentional, your future becomes intentional. This is why Marcus Aurelius practiced simplicity. He removed distractions not because he disliked comfort, but because he understood that clarity requires space. Let's reset. Inhale, exhale. Say it with me. Small rooms create big destinies. Now imagine your life 1 year from today. Imagine the skill you could build, the book you could start, the business you could launch, the strength you could gain, the inner transformation you could undergo. Not outside, not somewhere far away, but right here inside your home. This is not imagination. This is reality backed by data. A 2019 Stanford behavioral study found that people who dedicated consistent time in their home environment to a single skill improved 3 times faster than those who practiced irregularly outside their homes. Why? Because home removes logistical friction. You don't waste energy commuting, preparing, or waiting. You simply show up, you begin, and you grow. Marcus Aurelius understood this principle intuitively. When he prepared for leadership, he didn't wait for the chaos of the empire to test him. He prepared privately, writing, reading, reflecting, training. So when the world demanded strength, he already possessed it. Here is a question for you, one that may feel uncomfortable but necessary. What strength are you building at home today? What skill, what mindset, what habit, what version of yourself is quietly being shaped behind closed doors? Because whether you realize it or not, you are training something every day. You are either training your future or training your excuses. Let's pause. Take a breath. In and out. Good. Stay with me. Let me tell you a story. There was once a painter unknown, unrecognized, who lived in a cramped apartment the size of a closet in Paris. He didn't have patrons. He didn't have wealthy friends. But he had space, a tiny space. And in that space, he painted every night after work. Years later, his work would travel the world. When asked how he succeeded, he said only this: greatness grows in quiet rooms. Your home can be your quiet room. Not everyone starts with opportunity. Not everyone starts with resources. But everyone starts with a space, no matter how small, where transformation can begin. Now breathe again. Reset your mind. Say it softly: I begin here. Here is your practice, simple but life-changing. For the next 30 days, choose one skill you want to build. Not 10, not 5. 1. Writing, reading, drawing, coding, strength training, meditation, a business idea, a language. Then dedicate 20 minutes per day at home to that skill. No excuses, no breaks, no negotiations. 20 minutes per day is 121 hours per year. 121 hours is enough to become better than 95% of the world in almost any skill. This is not motivational fluff. This is statistical truth. Small effort applied consistently becomes extraordinary. Marcus Aurelius understood this well. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." In modern terms, stop planning your life. Start building it. Your home is where your identity upgrades, where your future crafts itself in silence, where your destiny is rehearsed before it is revealed. Let's take one last breath together. Inhale, exhale, and now hear this. Your home is not where life pauses. It is where it begins again. Your home is not where your dreams shrink. It is where they are built. Your home is not small. Your home is sacred, because inside it lives the future version of you, waiting to be constructed moment by moment, habit by habit, day by day. Marcus Aurelius built his empire's strength in silence. You can build your life's masterpiece the same way. And now, after reclaiming your mind, after forging your discipline, after understanding that your home is the birthplace of your future, there is only one thing left: action. Take the exercises, take the insights, take the silence, and begin building the life you know you're capable of. Your home is powerful because you are powerful inside it. Imagine Marcus Aurelius sitting at his desk writing words that would outlive empires. Not in a throne room, not on a battlefield, but in a quiet home with a clear mind and a disciplined heart. His power didn't come from where he ruled, but from where he returned to rebuild himself. Staying home isn't about hiding from the world. It's about preparing yourself to rise above it. Your most powerful self is not found outside. It's forged in silence, discipline, and intention. And if this message spoke to you, let Marcus Aurelius remind you every single day your home is your fortress, your training ground, your birthplace of strength. Like this video, share it with someone who needs clarity, and subscribe to Making Life Better for more stoic wisdom and powerful storytelling. And tell me in the comments, what will you build from home today?